So in a couple of weeks I'm moving house, and so what I thought I'd do is do a desk setup of my current setup for the last time. You might have seen on my channel a few different iterations of this setup here, and I've gone through a few different configurations of monitors and added the TV at one point stuff. So I thought I'd just do like a final kind of tour of everything I've got going on here before I move into the new place. So let's just go ahead and get started. And the first thing you'll see is the LG UB 4800T or something like that. I'll put all the links to everything in the description below. This is a 4K TV, 40 inches obviously. I got this about 3 or 4 years ago, and it was a pretty cheap 4K monitor at that point, and I'm sure you could probably get it cheaper now. I basically use this, I've got it connected here to my MacBook Pro as you can see, but I basically use this just for putting up anything I don't really need to look at that point in time, you know, maybe some kind of call that I'm listening into, or just even Spotify or something like that. Something I don't really need to access because it's a bit uncomfortable to sit at the desk here and look up. The other thing that's really good though is I can swing it out. So the bed that's behind me, I can swing it out here, watch TV from bed, and then just, you know, when I want to use it back at my desk here, I can push it in again. What I have done behind the TV there is I've ran Ethernet ports, so I can basically plug the TV straight into Ethernet, so it's got Netflix and stuff on it, so I can watch that. And then I've also run a HDMI cord through this cable trunk here. I do have another cord sticking out here, which I'm not proud of, but it just runs to the Xbox that I've got down there. And because I'm not going to be here for that much longer, I thought I don't want to take apart that whole, you know, cable trunk to, you know, run that Xbox cable through. So moving right to left across the desk, now that we've looked at it, we've got the Xbox One here, just the One S. It's just a white one. I've got a whole bunch of stuff on top of it, just kind of a catch-all. I don't really use it too much, but you know, every now and then I feel like playing a game or something from bed. Got the wire controller there, got a battery charger for the for this camera, headphones case, and some other stuff. Moving across, we've got a Apple Watch charger there. We've got the iPhone wireless charger dock, so I can actually see the messages that come in on the dock, which is a good feature and something I like. Here I've got this Broadlink, it's a Wi-Fi RF transmitter. So basically what it does is it connects to my Google, you know, Google Home basically, and what I can do is use this to control the TV. So while I do have a Chromecast in this TV, and I can, you know, put stuff from Chromecast and turn it on that way, Chromecast doesn't actually let you turn off this TV for some reason. So I need to use this RF transmitter to basically emulate what a remote's doing. But I can send a command with my voice and get that TV to turn off, which is pretty cool. If I had other RF devices in the room, so like for example, at one point I was looking at doing a like a motorized blind with a remote, I could get this thing to learn those commands with a remote, and then basically, you know, anything that you use a remote for, you can then use a voice control, which is pretty cool. Next here, I've got my Swan M10 speaker, so this is the right one. There's like a big subwoofer center channel in the middle behind this middle screen. Obviously not the best placement, but I'm kind of running out of space here. And we've got the one on the left as well. Moving right along, we've got 3 Dell U2515H monitors, and these are 1440p monitors. And I've basically gone through a few different monitor configurations, you know, across the time. We used to have 3, you know, like 1, 2, 3, kind of that like iFinity, ultra wide, 3 in landscape configuration. But I only originally got that to basically play games across 3 monitors, and I literally hardly ever play games at all now, especially just because I have a Mac and not a proper gaming computer. So what I've done now is I got a wall mount arm for this top one. I've got a dual monitor arm for the laptop here and the bottom one, and then I've got another single monitor arm for the portrait screen there. This is really great, and I really actually recommend having a monitor on the top and then a monitor on the bottom, because you can fit a lot more stuff on, and you don't have to move your neck or move your head as much as you do when they're side by side. So having this, all I have to do is flick my eyes up and down, and I can kind of put, you know, in my job as a software developer, I have, let's say, code down here in the website I'm working on up here, and then over here on the portrait monitor I can fit basically a whole bunch of other stuff that's kind of peripheral to what I'm doing at that point. So I might have chat, emails, Spotify or something like that. If I'm reading, you know, if I've got a lot of emails open, I can make it fill up the whole screen, see a whole bunch. Just kind of nice, and it's, you know, you don't have to look as wide, you don't have to turn your head as much because it's portrait, it doesn't have as much width. It kind of matches the top 2 monitors here, the 2 landscape monitors here. And then finally I've got my MacBook Pro here. This is the 2018, it's pretty spec'd up. I've got it's the 6-core version, they didn't have 8-core versions at that point, but it's an i7. It's got Vega 20 graphics, 2 terabyte SSD, which is ultra expensive, and 32 gigs of RAM. I got it in the silver edition here. I thought everyone gets those space gray MacBook Pros these days, so I thought I'd get the silver one, you know, bit of a flashback to what the old MacBooks were like. And then I've got that, you'll just see I've got it plugged in with just the one cable, and that's plugged into the Razer Core X here. This is an external graphics card. So basically through Thunderbolt 3, and Thunderbolt 3 is a really high throughput connector, I can basically have this graphics card in here, which I've got an RX 580 or 570 actually, which was only about $100. But I'm not, because like I said before, I'm not really playing games or anything on Mac. I literally just use this to drive all the displays. So instead of having to get a dock, and all the Thunderbolt 3 docks only support 2 monitors at a time, or instead of plugging in a whole bunch of cables to get all these different monitors connected, I basically just plug all the monitors in there to the eGPU, and then I have one cable coming out of the graphics card through to the computer. The other cool thing is this actually charges the MacBook as well, so it's literally just a one cable solution. If you want to hear more about that, I've got a video already done about that, 4 monitors, 1 cable. You can click up here. I think it might be this side actually. Click up here, I'll put a little info thing and you can watch that. So that's basically the main setup. I've got another microphone, or not another microphone, a microphone that I use if I ever need to do voiceovers or anything. This Rode NT USB, just plugs in with USB, and I just need to get an adapter out and stuff. Pens and stuff. Here we've got the keyboard, the Apple Magic keyboard. I used to have a mechanical keyboard with a cable, but firstly I wanted to go Bluetooth so I didn't have to plug in anything. And secondly, I really don't mind even this, you know, all the flack that this keyboard gets, I really don't mind it. And so I don't mind the Magic Keyboard as well. You know, really doesn't really affect my typing speed or anything like that. It's got all the Mac shortcuts at the top, which I like. For a mouse, I've got the Logitech MX Master. It's a classic mouse, you see it all the time. One cool thing is I've set up these buttons here to do my media controls. So the bottom one plays and pauses music, the top one goes to the next track, and this horizontal scroll I just use as a volume because I'm never horizontally scrolling. I don't really use the gesture button here. In fact, it actually broke on me recently and I had to take the whole mouse apart to get the mouse to work again. But yeah, I don't really use that one. And then I run it with the clicked scroll wheel here. And then all that is just sitting on this Razer Vespula mouse pad. Originally when I had a gaming computer, it was all green themed, so I wanted to get a green themed mouse pad. Obviously I've moved beyond the green theme now, and so it's kind of the only relic from there. I'll probably get a different mouse pad at some point, but I don't know, it works well enough for now. Moving on to these drawers I've got here. The top one, just a whole bunch of stationery, calculators, and I've got some business cards there and stuff, tape. Second one, I've just got, I've got an iPad, some wireless chargers, hard drives, and just some paper and stuff. At the back, I've done something cool, which you're probably not going to be able to see. Maybe I'll try and get a shot of it over the top, but I've set up a power board at the back. Originally, this was going to be my charging drawer, but I found it's kind of really hard to get to the back of it. I should have put the power board, you know, closer to the front, so it wasn't so hard to get to. But I've got like a my rechargeable AA battery at the back there, so it's kind of cool. And then my next 3 drawers are all just cables, and they're pretty assorted. So here I've got USB cables at the front, adapters, stuff like that. That's probably my most commonly used drawer. At the back, I've just got power cables. Second one, HDMI display cables, you know, DVI, VGA, whatever. And then Ethernet network cables at the back. And then finally down the bottom here, it's the music drawer. So we've got a MIDI keyboard, some headphones, and a whole bunch of, there's a little mixer there, and some XLR cables, and other cables and stuff. So that's pretty much it for the desk. Oh, and we can talk about the top here too. There's not really too much going on here, just some knickknacks, some old hard drives here that I probably need to get rid of, some old SSDs and stuff that I don't really have anything to do with. And then across the other side here, we've got a little bit of clearance there between the monitor. I've got some cable ties, screen cleaning stuff, some old cards. And then up the top here, I've got one of these subscriber counters. You've probably seen them everywhere. It does other stuff apart from subscribers, like when I turn off all the lights and go to bed, it becomes a clock, which is pretty handy and something I didn't even know I wanted. And I've got a light there. It's currently down at the moment, but I use that as a backlight when I'm doing shots, you know, from here, and I want a little bit of that key light behind me. And then I've got some other knickknacks up here. This crystal thing, this thing from Japan, this globe that spins based on, it's just like solar powered, which is pretty cool. I don't know where the solar panels are in it. They must be kind of hidden in the dark spots, but pretty cool thing. And then finally this ball made out of shells. So yeah, that's pretty much my desk setup. Underneath I've managed all the cables, and all the power boards stuck to the top of the desk, so you don't see any cables when you're looking, only if you get under the desk. Behind the desk I've got that Philips Hue light strip, so I can control the light of the backlight with my voice. And I've also got Philips Hue in the room, although they're just set to white at the moment. And yeah, that's pretty much my desk setup. Let me know if you've got any questions about what I've done here, or if you've got any suggestions for the new place. And yeah, leave a comment, leave a like down below if you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.